Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Eden Collective Conception Fall 2020. So we're so excited. This is the launch of Regenesis Guild, which was started this past summer, actually, between myself and Elaine Mays, if you can just give a wave, as well as Sarah Choi and Jenny Lee, who is currently right there. So we're so excited that you guys are here, able to participate with us. This is the Eden Collective, which we hope will be an annual event of an artist gallery, showcase of different creative expressions. And we decided to have it online this year, obviously. And the theme this year is conception. And we hope that every year we can have this and it'll be around a different theme. So we're very excited because we have a lineup of really talented, very gifted, very deep and amazing, wonderful artists and creatives that will be sharing their work with us today. So we just really hope it is a time where we feel connected, encouraged, inspired, and just really strengthened in who we are. So very, very thankful for that. I also just want to give a shout out to Drink Ministry, which is something that Elaine heads up. And they are one of our generous co-sponsors for this event. So we just wanted to say thank you for that. And if you want to find out more about Regenesis Guild, you can always visit our website. It's just www.regenesisguild.com. And we just really envision it as a place where creatives and educators can come together, and through events and workshops and connecting with one another, we can materialize the vision to really see change and transformation in our communities and in our cities. So thank you for joining. And to kick us off, I will actually be sharing a spoken word. And this is a piece that I wrote several years ago, but I thought it was very appropriate for today's event, for this idea of conception. It is really about the inspired word of God that comes to us, and as we declare it, that as He seeds and conceives the word in us, and we declare it, how that brings change to the world around us. So I will start with that. And then, yes, so thank you all for coming and being here. So, daughter of Zion, arise. Loose the chains around your neck. Shake off the darkness, for He has made us a new creation. Daughter of Zion, arise. With sharp teeth and tongue, blades and daggers will fly, shredding veils of dark deception and cutting open twisted labyrinth cages where birds do sing and with clipped wings desire to fly. Arise, open your mouth that God has saved from curses of shallow kisses and defiled doorways. Though the scoffers and scholars wrote us, drowned in Babylon, sullied, spoiled, and exiled, and with gloating eyes moved to ransack our hidden beauty, we instead are a remnant redeemed. Perfected and pure, tested and found true, in you and me, God has planted seed. Treasure in clay jars, mystery in a womb, so arise. Open your mouth and prophesy to the dry bones that meat will grow, life will swell, water will spill from a resurrected well, because Jesus Christ gripped our lives with a grace that undid death. He held, hovered, and covered that dream, that word, that story, that promise. He protected with an unflinching roar, a storm of tears, a cloud of incense. So, arise, you who saw the girl with 1,000 shards of dark glass glistening in her dilapidated soul. You held her in your arms as she screamed and cut you with her jaggedness until you bled a river of love that washed, fed, and lifted her into the sweetness of the one who saves. Arise and prophesy, you who can search the unspeakable glory waiting in the most barren of deserts, because you yourself have known salvation despite the soul's desolate wilderness. Arise, you who saw the boy who knew no kindness from fathers or mothers, so searched inside a pipe glass and a gun for some heaven and peace. You held him in your arms as he cursed and battled like stray bullets until you bled a river of love that stilled, steadied, and lifted him into the faithfulness of the one who saves. Arise and prophesy, you who believe the untamable fire waiting in the deadest of winters, because you yourself have known redemption despite the heart's abandoned darkness. Daughter of Zion, arise. Son of God, arise and prophesy life to dry bones. For when God said, let there be light, he meant you and I alive in Jesus Christ. When God said, let there be light, he meant you and I alive in Jesus Christ, running into the dark places, unfazed by the swinging pendulums and sticky conundrums of temporary kingdoms. So come, let's incline our ears to hear him, calling forth that universe inside us, that radiance, that hope of glory, that greatness and nobility, boldly, like lions. We stand upon the rock who holds us, and we declare into the darkness, hell, no, you shall not pass. Meekly, like lambs, we simply follow the one who has called us, obedient to the words he has spoken. Love one another, even as I have loved you. We, who have labored to lay it all down at his feet, been crushed, pressed, persecuted, and beaten, all for the simple sake of knowing him and making him known to a world that is literally dying to know love. Arise now, like the dawn, like an army with banners. Arise now. We were born for such a time as this, to take our place among a long line of saints with fearless faith. Arise now, and let there be light. Amen. Thank you. Yay.
Thank you, Janet. I do want to tell everybody that
yes.
there will be a time at the end where we will allow audience responses. So we thank you for the typed comments. I think at some point they may disappear, but it'll be great if you will share with us at the end and give feedback to our artists that have spent so much time preparing for this event. Thank you, Janet.
Yes, thank you for that reminder. Absolutely. So I want to introduce our first artist and creative. Her name is Barb Ezell, and she is a mother to 5, a grandmother to 7, so fruitful, and a wife to the one and only Ken. She is a former creative arts pastor, as well as a member of the Orange County House of Prayer. As a creative, color is her chosen medium, and she believes in revolution through love. Yes, absolutely. So, Barb, please.
Hi, thank you so much for opening this up to people all over the world, Janet. It is so exciting. My first piece is an acrylic poured painting, and these are the words I want to speak over it before I speak about it. The Spirit of God hovers. The Spirit of God hovers over. The Spirit of God hovers over the unformed, yet not unimagined places. Beginnings cosmic, cataclysmic, physical. Change started with breath, a word spoken. So poured paint is a very exciting medium for me because you are not in complete control of what is going to be your result. The unplanned and uncontrolled results make it more exciting for me, and which is one of the reasons why I love it so. So this piece, after it was completed, I knew it was speaking of God's creation at the beginning, the creation before there were elements, the creation when it was just God himself, before he spoke the word. and changed everything that we see now in our existence. I highly recommend, if you like unexpected things, to give a try to poured acrylic paint. It really is an exciting and fun medium. And in many areas, you can take classes in this at your local colleges through the extended education program. Many times there's no cost at all except for your supplies, which is how I first was able to do it. So my second piece is a visual poem. I love poetry, but more than that, I love to preserve it in a way that is visual. So this poem is called Emma's Song. It was written for our first granddaughter. Emma's Song. Such a miracle. Tiny breath, curved lip, rooting for clenched fist, silky hair atop rounded skull, cavernous brain, controlling each and every reflex, thought, and beat. Perfect melding of imperfect us, a vessel carrying more than hopes and dreams. Fragile life, inside magnificently complex skin, whose soul, thoughts, feelings measurelessly captivate, invisibly, bound by love. Our destinies twined together, different as apples, frogs, and sparks. And that is all.
Oh, thank you so much. I love that you bring such a depth and a beauty to the celebration of life, and especially your poem. I love this perfect melding of imperfect us and the
Yes.
capturing of fragile life and the complexity of Emma, of her birth. Wow, thank you so much.
Thank
And I
you,
love
Janet.
that too. The change started with breath. I'm gonna have to really chew on that.
It's
Thank you
awesome.
so much, Barb.
You're welcome.
Wow. Next we have Tobias and Liam, and I'm very excited to introduce them. They are extraordinary brothers. Tobias is a creative 10-year-old boy who loves worshiping Jesus through art and music. And Liam, his brother, is a compassionate lover of God's word and truth. They both enjoy journaling and creating art as a form of worship, and they are going to share with us about their recent project.
We're excited to be here. This is the first time we've made a book, and the reason why we made this book is because we want people to be inspired and trust in God. Our book is called Entering Heaven's Door, Tobias and Liam's Prophetic Art. It's a collection of 85 pieces of our art, and each one has a prophetic message. We use the markers for all the drawings. This first piece is called 5 Keys to Freedom, and those keys are healing, deliverance, revelation, Holy Spirit, and visions. God will give us these keys to unlock heaven's door and live with Him forever. This piece is called Heaven, and it shows that Christians will rise up to heaven. This piece is called Follow God. At the end of time, all those who have been close to God will join His kingdom forever. These are just 3 out of 85 pieces we have in our book. Our book, Entering Heaven's Door, Tobias and Liam's Prophetic Art, will be available for you on Amazon, and we are excited that all the funds will be going towards missions.
Wow. Naomi, did you want to share anything about this book or where we can find it? I mean, I'm just blown away that there's 85 drawings that are in this book that is just so vibrant and full of color as we've seen. But Naomi, if you wanted to share something. Naomi is Tobias and Liam's mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hello. Hi, yeah, I just wanted to share, I guess, give a little bit of a backstory on how this art was conceived and how the book was birthed. So before the pandemic, we were regularly attending the House of Prayer to worship. And it was like challenging at times to get the boys engaged in worship. So we wanted them to like be fully engaged and joyfully worship and glorify God, but we just didn't know what that looked like. So yeah, this led to prayer, and I asked the Lord, like, how can this be possible? And this is actually where the idea of art began. So during this time, Toby kept telling me that he wanted to publish a book because he had a few drawings, but I just kind of brushed them off and said, sure, Toby, someday. Then after about a month or so, we went to the House of Prayer again, and this time Toby shared his art with Sarah. And when she saw it, she mentioned the possibility of publishing a book. So I immediately was like, okay, God is definitely leading this, so we're gonna go for it. And yeah, this is just how it got birthed. It was basically through prayer and just the desire to glorify the Lord.
Wonderful. I love that, it's just this idea, and then to see it come to this fruition is so incredibly exciting. Naomi, would you be willing to maybe in the chat put the link for the book where we can find it? And it will also be up, I think, on our website as well. But if you have a chance at any point.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
It's on Amazon, so I'll just post the name of the book, and then you can find it on Amazon.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, Tobias and Liam. You guys, we can't wait to see the book. You guys did a great, amazing work.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Okay, next we have Stephen Homestead. He is going to be sharing a sculpture and a spoken word, and he brings genre-spanning creativity to life, whether it's composing music, leading community art projects, writing and speaking on arts and faith, or curating generative events. Overall, he works to promote honor, give voice, share wonder, and develop unity. And he is involved in so many things, spearheads so many things. Current projects that he's involved in is the Digital Super Bloom and Word Up Poetry Reading Series, which are both online community gathering spaces, workshops, and events, which celebrate and support our opportunity to gather amid distances, to seek unity, and to make peace. So I'm very looking forward to hearing him share about his work that he brought for us today.
Thank you so much. It's really awesome to be a part of this inaugural Eden Collective, and I just really love being present to witness all the creative people who are gathering from all over the world. In the idea of conception, I created this piece out of food packaging. I felt sort of compelled to create out of that because I heard this whisper in the pandemic to start saving certain food items. So leftover potato chip bags, egg cartons, and different things. And I didn't know why. And then when I found out the theme of the event, I was like, okay, that's what God was whispering to me about. It finally dawned on me what I was going to use the egg cartons for. So this is an installation piece that only I have seen in person. Someday maybe we'll get to see it in physical reality. But it's supposed to reference an altar. And the at factus es is a Latin phrase meaning, and it was made, or he was made. And so it references this idea that God creates with his spoken word instantly. He doesn't have to do the travailing work that we do, but there's also this beautiful discipline that we go through when we create. We have to do a lot of repetition, and there's a lot of there's a lot of beauty in that. As kids, we learn to walk by taking a lot of steps. So as spoken word artists, as painters, as dancers, we have to do our discipline. And so that one gold part of the egg carton represents that we might have a lot of attempts before we get to the one idea that really has a lot of weight to it, that might be the one that God has set apart. And he might have hidden it like he hid himself to be discovered. So that's what this visual art piece has, and it's like an altarpiece. So when you see it in 3 dimensionals, it's like 3 panels. So it comes out from the sides. And so that's my piece. And then I also have a spoken word that I wrote. I was attending an online, what do you call that? Like communion service. And I was just inspired by the idea of the loss that we had in the crucifixion and the burial of Christ, in the same way that we're also going through a lot of loss. As the world goes through this pandemic, there's a lot of things we're losing out on. And so just thinking about that, that collective grief, I think there's something that's very powerful about poetry and the Psalms to kind of release that grief, for me especially. So this poem, the spoken word, is titled, If We Didn't Know. If we didn't know a seed held life, what would planting be other than a burial? Placing a wooden stone into the ground would be an act of grief and loss, darkness into darkness, death in recursivity. So what do we do when we are at the end? Do we place Christ in the tomb? We did not see that by placing the rock within the rocks, by placing the Adama into the very earth, we planted death in death. But that is where we must go to find out what happens when we multiply the death of God by the death of man. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Stephen. I love this is the first time that I've heard your explanation of the sculpture. And I love that. It made me think of how, that one gold piece there, and how it's the glory of God to conceal a matter, and the glory of kings, or some translation says the glory of scientists, actually, to search it out. And so I just love that. It was so beautiful. It very much touched my heart. And I love too your spoken word about the death of man multiplied by the death of God. It's just very, very deep. And there's such a reminder of the hope that we have in him, even though we feel and do go through those processes of grief and lament and loss and death. So thank you so much, Stephen.
Sure, thank you. I feel like when I was writing that poem, I started out with this image of a seed. And as I wrote it, I felt like Holy Spirit was there with me, guiding me to that final line. And he kind of uncovered it for me, kind of like that gold circle in the egg carton. I came to some thoughts that I don't think I would have come across if I hadn't been obedient to just keep writing. So thank you.
Wow, that's so deep. Even that process of just obedience and creating, and how God unravels and reveals, even if we don't necessarily understand the end. Wow, thank you so much. That is very encouraging. Great. So next we have Christina, who is joining us from Germany. Let's see if she is.
Yes,
hi. Hi, so Christina, hi. She is a German-born poet, international community helper, and a book author with a background in shape design, drawing, and painting. And she is going to be sharing with us the cover drawing of her up-and-coming book.
I'm Christina from Germany, and this is my drawing I created for my book. I work hard at the moment here in Germany to finish it, and yeah, to cover it, to get the cover. God gave me this inspiration for this drawing. It represents me. You see a tree, and yeah, half of it is death and the other side is alive. And yeah, according to the word of God, we can find many people who yeah, where the tree is a symbol for human being, for people. So, and that's why I choose the tree to show what was inside me many years ago, when I have been a very young girl, 20 years old around, and inside me was a fight about between darkness and light, life or death, and curse or blessing. So there was really a huge fight before, yeah, and that's why it's spelled. And yeah, and this is because I was in a deep depression, and there was no way to come out of it except yeah, God is there. So God is a real God, and in His mercy he spoke to me, and yeah, like you can see over this tree, I will show you two ways. The one way is the way of life. The another way is the way of death. If you choose the way of death, you need to change your life. You can live farther, but I say to you, you will find the death in few years. If you want the life, I say you leave your birthplace and your family, and you follow me in a town I will show you. So, and according to the Bible, yeah, He spoke to me. We can find this in Deuteronomy, where He talked to Abram, and it was similar. And yeah, He spoke to Abram, go for your country, go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you. And it is I was not aware of it, and many years later, Jesus showed me everything what happens there, and that I really talked to God, and that He brought me out of darkness to life. And yeah, and this is also what is written in the Bible. I want to share in. We can find in Deuteronomy, where it's written. I'm sorry, I must see 30, chapter 30 and verse 19. This day I call heaven and earth as a witnesses against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live, and that you may love the Lord your God, listen to His voice and hold fast on to Him, and so on. It's also there in the scripture, and the Lord told me to write it down for this lost world. You know, many people out there who in depression, like I was, and I believe God will use this testimony as it is, and yeah, for His glory, for His honor, to save souls. So my poor English, I'm sorry. I'm telling this to you. God bless you all. I'm so excited.
Thank you so much, Christina. I just know that this book will carry such life-giving words and power to those who read it. And hopefully one day it will be translated into
Yeah.
English. Yes,
Yes.
I look
Okay.
forward to that.
By God grace.
Yes,
Bye.
thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, Christina. What time is it in Germany right now?
It's exactly midnight and 37 minutes. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
So next we have Danielle Lewis. She's recently married. Yay. And in addition to being recently married, she is an eloquent dancer, an entrepreneur, and a multi-talented creative who loves to discover new forms of communicating and creating. And I believe she is going to share with us an original dance that she choreographed, correct?
Hi. Yeah, so I'll be dancing to a song called Made for Jesus by John Mark Pantana. And I'll be sharing a little bit more after I dance, but I'll start and I'll be out of breath after, but I'll share a little bit afterwards.
Deep in the caverns of your heart, still your beloved your face, fairest among thousands. You formed the seasons and fixed the time. You gave me smiles and morning light. Creation flowed from your heart. You were crafting, I was breathing. You were laughing, I was reaching out to you. I was made for it. I was made for Jesus. I was made to love you. Cool of the day with you. Cursed in a garden of paradise, you knew the pain from a lover's eyes. Get us back, you gave it all. Filled in the likeness of flesh on earth, you bore the cross that we deserve. Gotten down on me. Spirit's breathing, now I'm living. We've been married now, I see what I was made for. I was made for it. I was made for Jesus. I was made to walk in the cool of the day with you. I was made for heaven. I was made for Jesus. I was made to walk in the cool of the day with you. With you.
So, the some lyrics in the song that really speak to me, wow, are when it says, I was made for heaven and I was made for Jesus. I was made to walk in the cool of the day with you. And yeah, I think just thinking about how it's really easy to just get distracted from the things that we're actually made for, and thinking about how we're actually made to walk in the cool of the day with Jesus and the rest that he has for us. And I'm actually reminded of this Monday, and on Mondays my husband and I have set aside to just have time to rest and be with the Lord. And somehow we got in the excitement to create things and do things that bring us life, we kind of got into like a project mode. And I realized this because we were making this clay thing with these broken tiles, and we came home and it dried and it had cracked. And I was so mad, and I realized like it wasn't really about like creating and just resting, but it was like we were just doing and like working again. And yeah, just how easy it is to quickly turn to the things that are we feel bring purpose or accomplishment or productivity. And that's something I definitely struggle with. But yeah, we're made to walk in the cool of the day with the Lord, and we're made to rest in that truth. And even dancing just now, there was such a delight in like looking at the clouds and feeling like the breeze that he made on me, on my body as I danced. And yeah, thank you so much for joining, and thank you for letting me share.
Oh, thank you so much, Danielle. That was so beautiful. And I love how you really brought to life that aspect of what we are made for, why we are created to walk in the cool of the day. And just from that place of rest and connection with God, there's this seamless, life-giving creativity and just that reminder of the core thing to come back to. So that was so beautiful. Thank you so much. And yes, like the comments, like you're dancing in nature. So I love that as well. Thank you so much. That was so beautiful.
Thank you.
Great. So next I want to introduce Anna Waltshu. She is a Bulgarian-American documentary photographer based out of South Texas and Northern Mexico, as well as Los Angeles. And she's a firm believer that beauty and human-to-human interaction are part of the antidote to poverty, division, and distrust. Her work seeks to challenge conventional thinking and inspire mutual understanding between peoples, especially in areas of conflict. So whether here or abroad, she's always in search of broadened horizons, new understandings, the best human hummus, maybe the best humans too, and the strongest chai. So we're very thankful that Anna could join us.
Hi, everyone. I'm a little shaken up by that last performance. I'm like on the verge of tears, but I'm glad to be here. Yes, as Janet mentioned, my name is Anna, and I am very fortunate to be a full-time photographer. And over my photographic career, if you will, I've had the privilege of getting to travel with a handful of organizations and humanitarian organizations and nonprofits, photographing some of their operations in really cool places, but also places that a lot of people probably would deem as the hardest and darkest, like some pretty dark places. But as I thought about what to share with you guys, and also the topic of this this event, Conception, I thought about the word and what that meant to me. And for me, when I think of that word, I think of new life being brought out of a dark place, like literally and physically, you know, a new human being brought out from their mother's womb, which is a dark place, into this new world of light and life. And I thought about it, and I think a lot of my work thematically, I've realized kind of touches on that same thing of finding that light in dark places, or finding that beauty in brokenness, or just finding all of the good things, right, in this life that the Lord gives us in less than ideal circumstances. And so I have a couple of images from India and then one from Turkey, I believe. And it's awesome because I think 3 people that are here with us today have gotten to go with me, or I've gotten to go with them to India, to an orphanage on kind of the eastern side of India. And so this first image is actually of a woman, and she was photographed. I photographed her inside that orphanage. And yeah, when I see this image, I think of the context, like the place where I took it, but also just how strikingly beautiful she is. And another thing too is, yes, like thematically, I kind of play with the ideas of darkness and light, but I think too, technically, I love playing with light. I love playing with the ideas of juxtaposing just stark darkness with light. I do that a lot in my work. And as you can see here in this picture, she's in a dark place physically, but she turned to the side and it kind of illuminated her profile by the light coming in through the window at this time. And yeah, this is one of my favorite images. It was kind of like happenstance that it even happened, because I was photographing her head on, like her facing the camera, but I think she heard something out of the corner of her like left side, and she just turned, and I was able to capture this, and I think it made the image. But the next image is of a girl also photographed in this orphanage, although she wasn't one of the orphans. She was a next door neighbor that just came by to play. And again, I love kind of the darkness and light that this photo you can kind of see in it. And I think a lot of people would probably deem this place as being it was like deep into the wilderness in India, maybe not a lot of opportunity, but yet you can still see so much beauty. And yeah, one of the ways that I love doing that too is by photographing people. I think that's primarily what I focus on. And I think that's because as human beings, we're image bearers of our Creator, and we are reflections of every good and perfect thing that He embodies, right? And so we are also pieces of that at our core because He created us. And so that's why I love photographing people. And yeah, the next image was taken in Ankara, Turkey, and this was during a time when I was working with an organization that was resettling Iraqi, Syrian, and Afghan refugees in this city, and they were kind of in a limbo stage before hopefully getting admitted to other Western countries, usually Western countries that they were seeking to start a new life in and move to. So overall, that time was I got to hear a lot of hard stories, just sitting and talking to a lot of the refugees and where they had been and where they came from, and also just hearing of their time in Turkey. So I think, like secondhand, it was very hard for me. And I think too, spiritually, Turkey, it's a beautiful nation, but as believers, it is sad because it is a majority Muslim country. So a lot of people are either like religiously Muslim or kind of culturally atheistic. They don't really have a God, or they don't believe in God. And I think it's only 2% Christian, if I'm not mistaken. And I actually got to work with the biggest evangelical Christian church while I was there. And it was only 40 people on a good day. So that's that goes to show just how few believers there are in the country and how kind of spiritually bankrupt it is. And so just, I think all of that piled on top of each other, it was a dark place, but I love this image because it shows that, every morning and every evening there is a new beginning, right? Like new life that the Lord shows us in his creation, in a new morning every morning. And this was of the sunrise over the city. So yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to share with you, but I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you so much, Anna. Your images are so stunning, and I love how you truly captured this juxtaposition of out of dark places, there is light, and even in places or situations where we might feel as though there's just darkness surrounding us, that there is new mercies, new light, new grace for every day. So I just love the stories also that your images capture. So thank you so much for that. They are beautiful, and we will look forward to seeing more of your work on your website and just in the years to come. Thank you, Anna. Next, I want to introduce Phoebe Stancio, and she's joining us from California as well. And if you combine deep passion for children, love for the creative arts, and teaching geared for transformation, who do you have? You have Phoebe Stancio. So she currently oversees the Music Magnet program at OCCTAC's Prep Arts Music Department Academy, where she also teaches piano and piano theory to approximately 30 students, along with adaptive piano lessons for special needs students. And she's joining us today. She will be sharing some original music with us.
Hi, everybody. First of all, I've got to, I'm kind of goofy sometimes. And I thought my phone was off completely and I started hearing things. It's comical, it's not supposed to be comical. But anyway, I'm so happy to be here. I feel so honored. There is so much creativity in this house. And so basically, this piece, I guess, has a lot of layers to it. It's covert because I am releasing it for a kind of like a crossover tune, but it's actually in the part of the conception aspect of the theme. During COVID, I felt like the Lord had really started to bring out some things that were very dormant in my life. And I've always been a worshiper. I've always loved to worship. And during this time, I was having to work on a project for actually the school that Janet had mentioned. And God just started putting all of these songs into my soul. And so so this is actually a love song to Jesus. This is actually a love song. And it's really interesting that Danielle was talking about walking in the cool of the day. So when I think about bossa nova, it's got a very interesting sound, and it makes you feel that way. So I was really thinking about being with Jesus and the covenant, and how marriage is such a sacred covenant, but being married to Jesus is the best. So that's basically what the song is kind of about. And so I hope to release it on Spotify very soon, the acoustic version. So thank you so much for listening.
Oh, thank you so much, Phoebe. I loved that piece as I was listening to it. It really did make me feel like I was walking somewhere in Europe, in Spain, and just like on a autumn, little foggy day, but just very like close and intimate and cozy with like a cup of coffee, walking down like by a river or something. So I just love the feel, the texture of the song. Really, thank you so much for sharing it with us and inviting us into that place of covenant and love, and that love relationship that you carry so well with Jesus. And I love that you mentioned how in this season, God was bringing out dormant things and kind of giving voice and birth to what's inside of us that maybe in past seasons, for whatever reason, we didn't have the space to really pay attention to. But I just love that as you were faithful to follow that and bring that out, there's this birth of this beautiful song and more to come. So thank you. Thank you so much, Phoebe. Wow. Great. How is everyone doing?
Good.
Yay, great. So we have a few more artists that are going to share with us. I wanted to introduce the next one, who is also joining us from Germany, Roswitha Fay. She is an international artist and a pedagogue from Germany. Trained as a music teacher, Roswitha started painting professionally in the mid-1990s. So her abstract paintings, which she paints while playing worship music, they have been shown nationally and internationally. And so we are very pleased that she was able to join us. And I will turn over the mic to Roswitha.
Can you hear me now? Yes. Can I say now something? Okay, I'm still made it to come here. I thought I don't come because I on the road not for 9 hours, and And yes, I'm a painter, and I always paint with worship music. And before I paint, I pray. My English is not so good, but I hope you can understand me. Okay, and 6 years ago, I had the irrepressible desire, I think it's from God, to paint large pictures. And my first pictures was this almost 2 meters by 1 meter. It was a very big picture. And then, yeah, I paint only big and large pictures. Okay, I must have my sheets here, my paper, to read something. And yeah, and then about for some years, I thought I must stand out for other artists. I must have a new idea, and I pray. And after I covered my paintings with liquid glass. Liquid glass, it looks like, and sometimes I completely made it, and sometimes only passionately, only sometimes no with liquid glass. And this, of course, is a sensational effect, and really you can see it if you see it in the original. Yes, and before I paint, I pray, and I think I paint. I think the Holy Spirit is painting through me, because if I paint, it's I'm really in a flow, and it's very nice to paint there, and I don't think about, and I always paint this. And okay, this is a jellyfish, and the jellyfish, the carpenter has made the wrong size. Normally I paint much more bigger than this, and I saw this small long wood. It's on wood. I paint on wood with acrylic, and in my mind I saw suddenly a jellyfish, and so I made it on this wood. Okay, and yeah, and I always write a prose to all my paints, and I can tell you the prose, sorry, to this jellyfish, and it means: even the depths of the oceans, beauty and blaze of color exist, which what was hidden for a long time. God's constructive creativity is unlimited and shows up in his works. This is the proof for the jellyfish. Okay, and then I have another pictures. Yes, this is the universe, and this one was sometimes paint a new page. This universe I have never done this before, but I have done, and it's one of my works. I have been worked for 2 months. It was very, very, yeah, aufwendig. I don't know in English. And okay, and God is so good. He has tell me, how can I do that? This, I was very glad about. Okay, and that says prose, I think, for this universe. And the prose for this universe is completely darkness all around, absolute quietness, unspoiledness, only godly being. Atmosphere and hemisphere are trembling at the sound of his voice. He is and will always be Creator, God, King of Kings, highest authority. How can we dare to ignore him? Yes, this is the pros for this one. And then I must tell you a little bit. I often come to London because my daughter lives with husband and 4 children. And I really enjoy to going to galleries in London. To galleries, yes. But it's frightening what I can see there, what kind of dark arts hang there. Really, it's very frightening. I want that God to do signs and wonders through my art and to other Christian art in this dark art in all galleries all over the world. I think so. And that the art changes and the atmosphere and people come to believe. So that when people want to have a positive impact on the art scene, and with God helps, and this is my prayer. And yeah, okay. And thank you to being here and to see you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Roswitha. Your paintings are so beautiful and awe-inspiring. I love the color, the composition, and what you were sharing about. I feel like you really do capture the awesomeness, the sovereignty, the glory, and the majesty of our Creator. And it's just very beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us and for sharing in English. You did an amazing job. I think perhaps you're a little frozen though, the connection.
It's difficult for me.
Oh, it was great, and your paintings speak.
It's difficult.
Your paintings speak so richly. So thank you so much. So I want to introduce.
Yeah.
Thank you. I would love to introduce our next creative, Joel Smith. He is going to be sharing an excerpt from his short story with us, and he writes fiction and nonfiction in order to communicate the heart and mind of God to humanity. He believes that God uses narrative to illuminate the dark places within ourselves and society and ultimately lead us to himself.
All right, thank you, Janet. Who's ready for a story? Ready for story time, everyone? I will just be reading a little excerpt because, of course, we don't have quite time for the whole story. But I'll just jump right in and tell you a little bit about the inspiration after I read this. So the story is called Orcas. Here goes. The stage lights wound their way around the set until they came to an abrupt, synchronized halt, shining down at me in fixed stares, their warmth comforting in the steely cold studio. With each beat of the stage manager's countdown of 3, 2, 1, I peered into the audience to find my father, but could not make out the faces through the glare of the lights. Action! At the stage manager's cry, I caught my breath and looked to my right where the podium was positioned at center stage. Stepping down from behind it and grinning into the camera, a man in a dark blue suit, white pleated shirt, and gold tie made 2 strolling steps towards the audience and greeted the world. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Stan Albright, host of What Do You Know, America's favorite quiz show, and it is my honor to welcome you to a very special edition of our program. In celebration of our 20th anniversary running on television, we have 3 of the nation's brightest young academics joining us. That's right, it is a What Do You Know children's edition. Let's go meet the kids now. Stan started walking towards me, and I could not help but compare him to the image of himself 10 years younger. I had seen him many times on my family's home taping of the show's 10th anniversary edition, and the man approaching me had seen considerable aging. The skin of his creased brow ran down into his cheeks, which dropped beneath his jawline and dragged at the corners of his mouth, in front of which he held fixed a microphone. We'll start with you, Anders. Go ahead and tell the audience your name, where you are from, what grade you are in, and in your case, you have a very special connection to the show, don't you? Why don't you tell the audience about that too, huh? Trying to smile, I stuttered out, "Hello, my name is Anders Rossi, and I am from Hempstead, New York, and I am in the 6th grade." I stopped there, unsure of how to answer the last part of Stan's question. Leaning over me, Stan said with a wet-lipped smile, "And tell us about your connection to the show, Anders. Who is your father?" I glanced nervously back and forth from his face to the camera that gaped in front of me. "My father was on the show a while ago for the 10th anniversary edition." I looked down for a moment, breaking eye contact with both Stan and the camera. "You had a special professors competition, and my father had just started teaching at New York University in the anthropology department." Beaming, Stan said, "That's right. And how did your father fare in the competition?" I took a swallow of saliva and smiled sheepishly at the camera. "Very well, Mr. Albright. He won." All right. Well, that's that for now. If you want to know how the story ends, you'll have to go and finish it yourself. The inspiration for the story, I mean, it's just a fun story. But what it unfolded into was really kind of an examination of how just how family dynamics, how families work, and kind of the mind and the heart of a child, and then specifically how a child in a family moves on from grief, or it doesn't move on from griefs, and so you'll find out as you read it that ultimately what goes on in the family that's depicted here, or will go on to be depicted, is a failing to overcome and through grief, and so the results of that kind of unravels through the course of this story. And so I'm not sure where the inspiration came from, but it just kind of came out as I was writing it, and it was a great joy to write it. And so I just found that God's just been doing a work in me, and just the process of writing things like this, and it's my heart to keep that going, and then to encourage others that, you know, as you take part, whenever art you do, whether it's writing or it's anything else like we've seen today, God, just revelation comes from that, healing comes from that, is imparted through that. And so so I thank you guys. I was so honored to get to share that little bit with you. I had a lot of fun, and thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, Joel. And just so we will be able to read through to the end. It's a short story, and we'll be able to read through to the end. Will you have it published or on a blog or somewhere where we can access it?
It's on a blog. I just made a blog. You can go to. I'll share it here. It's Joel Alto Smith. Middle name's Alto, so joelaltosmith.com. But I'll just write it in the comments.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And we'll have that all linked on our website too. But thank you. I love that it is a story about how a family about this concept of being able to move on from grief or not. I think that's very deep, actually. And so I look forward to reading it. I feel like it will bring even just a lot of personal healing and understanding. So thank you so much, Joel. Next, I want to introduce Jason Leith, who is a visual artist, and he is also the director and pastor of Saddleback Visual Arts, and his passion is socially engaged art, and he also has a current project, Sacred Streets, correct? Yes, which I think is amazing. And there's a website that people can also visit to see the work that you do there, of portraits of people that you connect with and you meet on Skid Row in Los Angeles, if I'm not mistaken. And so he has a quick video for us first, but I will let him take the mic.
Thank you, Janet, and thanks team that put this together. So yes, I love making portraits of people who live on the street, but there was a couple years where I made these portraits that you're looking at here, where I made these self-portraits and I tore them open to reveal what was underneath. And this was part of a performance, and you get to be part of a performance right now in a way. These paintings I would make in the studio, but then I would finish the portrait on stage in front of audiences. And then when I finished the portrait, I would start to cut it open and create something new out of it. And what this was for me was an exploration of what I felt God was asking of me. How do I become God's living work of art? What does it look like for God to be on display through my life, through what I do, through what I say? I believe that's key to becoming his living work of art. And so these paintings, these performances, I was turning these paintings into like these sacred icons or these altar pieces in a way. And I was thinking of people like John the Baptist who confessed, "I am not the light. I am just a witness to the light." And I wanted to explore that for myself. How can I be a witness to the light instead of putting the light on myself? Part of that meant kind of tearing open these portraits and revealing something underneath, something behind, something deeper. And I was thinking of these scriptures that tell us to take up our cross or to offer our bodies as living sacrifices. We see this in the life of Christ as he became man and sacrificed so much to be here on earth with us. Or Mary, who sacrificed being seen as having a child out of wedlock when that really wasn't the truth. She sacrificed her own reputation. Or the apostles in sacrificing being persecuted and tortured and even killed for their faith. I was asking myself, what does this look like for me today? What does this look like for me to take up my cross and offer my body as a living sacrifice? I was thinking about my new marriage. I had just gotten married as I was making these paintings. What does it look like to love unconditionally, or even the simple things like admitting that I'm wrong in a humbling way? Or idols of having influence, or idols of the public's opinion of myself. How do I sacrifice those things? Those are some of the things that I was thinking about as I was making these and tearing these open. And in terms of conception, I was thinking about how it looked like it was the end of the work for the audience, but really it was just the beginning. And that my sacrifice in tearing it open like this could actually release something new. And that it was in a way cutting away my ego, cutting away my pride to unleash something divine. And this breaking was the beginning. Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna have to definitely re-watch and re-listen to what you just shared. The breaking is the beginning. I think that really speaks to my heart, and even just that act of cutting and tearing away, it really reminds me of the circumcision of the heart that God does. So there's such a depth, a richness, and like a virtue in what you shared and in this painting and the process that you shared with us. I just feel very like strengthened in a Christ-like character.
Mm-hmm.
That's deep. So thank you so much, Jason. That is a blessing, and we can check out more of your projects and these portraits, I'm assuming, on your website.
Yes, you can. On sacredstreets.org, you can look at those.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you. Wow. This is such an amazing time so far, and I'm just so thankful for everyone who contributed and everyone who is here to receive, to share. I want to introduce our last creative, Poet Hawkins. and he is joining us from Texas, actually. I think maybe he can share a little bit about that, but it takes bravery to write with the kind of threadbare honesty that poet Hawkins achieves in his songs. His voice is reminiscent of Alexi Murdoch, Nick Drake, and he approaches music as a man untouched by the current relentlessness of our increasingly fast-paced world. He bids the listener to slow his or her mind to a pace where it becomes possible to hear, to think, and to feel. So I'm very honored and excited to have William share with us today. Yes.
Hey guys, how's everybody doing? All right. I am really excited to be with everyone on today, and it is really amazing how through COVID, God has just brought so many believers together from around the world that we wouldn't normally, be fellowshipping together. So I'm really excited about that. Let me start my timer here. I'm just going to do a couple of songs, but thank you to Janet and the team for having me, and I hope that you guys are blessed by these songs. This first song is called Make a Way. You put mountains under my feet, make lions fall asleep. You make a way when there is no way. You made sunshine out of my shade, all at the sound of your name. You make a way when there is no way. If the bottom of the ocean is not too deep for you, the depth of what I'm feeling is just a splash to you. Sometimes I don't believe it, but you take what is wrong and you make it for good. You put mountains under my feet, make lions fall asleep. You make a way when there is no way. You made sunshine out of my shame, all at the sound of your name. You make a way when there is no way. If the speed of every arrow is not too fast for you, the depth of what I'm feeling is not too fast for you. Sometimes I don't believe it, but you take what is wrong and you make it for good. You put mountains under my feet, make lions fall asleep. You make a way, there is no way. You made sunshine out of my shame, all at the sound of your name. You make a way, there is no way. And mercy will find me. Your love will always make a way. You make a way. Goodness will follow. Goodness will follow all of my days. 'Cause you put mountains under my feet, make lions fall asleep. You make a way when there is no way. You made sunshine out of my shame, all at the sound of your name. You make a way when there is no way. Thank you. So that song is called Make a Way. This song is called Pages. He wrote the story and I was the page. Every mistake that I made, he forgave. Every line he would fill till the end. My life was saved when he wrote it in red. He painted my picture for mercy to frame. Remembered my face while he hung from those nails. With all of his glory and all of his beauty, he made me the same. And when that ink dries, what could I say? There's pages and pages of nothing but grace. Chapter to chapter, his love, it wouldn't change. When I tell the story, how my life was saved, it was only by grace. Only by grace. Took my life and wrote it while blood was on his hands. Story after story with mercy in his pen, and he deserves it. Praise, every praise for what he's done, for all the things he's done. And when that ink dries, what could I say? There's pages and pages of nothing but grace. Chapter to chapter, his love, it wouldn't change. When I tell the story, how my life was saved. When that ink dries, it's pages and pages of nothing but grace. Every chapter. When I tell the story, how my life was saved, was only by grace. Only by grace. Oh, and I believe you are the way, the truth, the light. I believe you are the way, the truth, and the light. I believe you are the way, the truth, the light. I believe you are the way, the truth, the light. I believe you are. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, William. Yeah, I was starting to cry at the last song, actually. I love that. I mean, there's so many moments in each of your songs with the lyrics as well as the musical composition, just everything. I love the rawness and the honesty. And this this line, my life saved when he wrote it in red. Oh, so thank you. It's just such a beautiful reminder that of definitely only by grace. And I think you carry that as such a strong testimony. And so when that comes out in the song, I think we all just really feel it and it resonates so deeply in our spirits and our souls. So thank you so much for sharing, and for all of the artists and creatives who shared today. It's just been, I think, I love the way that really the Holy Spirit orchestrates things, because I think what each artist brought and shared, it just seems very complementary, and as though God was painting a very bigger picture, a bigger message for us, as he is using each person individually and uniquely in only the way that they could have expressed the creativity and what's on his heart. So thank you all for joining us. I do want to open up time after we hear some announcements super quickly from Elaine. We want to open up a time for people to just respond if there is anything that you really feel moved to share in response to one of the pieces of art or the music or the poetry, or just anything else in response to tonight. We will have a time for that after Elaine just shares a few announcements for us. And also, I'm so sorry, really quickly, William, yes, where can we find your music?
Hey guys, so I have a song up right now. If you search The Branch Experience on all platforms, you can find a song called Faith. And the songs that I played tonight will be up soon. So I do go by Poet Hawkins, and you can follow me on social media, but my worship music will be under The Branch, like you are the branch, I am the vine, that scripture, experience, The Branch Experience. I'll type it in the chat for you guys. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, William.
Okay, we are so excited that Regenesis Guild has made a commitment at this point in time to engage creatives and educators monthly. So we're trying to put on our schedule something where you can join us every month. All of our workshops are free of charge and will be done via Zoom. We do require, just as this event has happened, an RSVP being required to attend all the workshops. But we've got a couple coming up that I think that you would find interesting. And also, we want you to invite your friends and family members if they have an interest in this area. Janet John, who is also known as Smashed Saint, will be teaching a spoken workshop for beginners. It will be a 2-week session. It will be on November 14th, and the follow-up will be on November the 21st. So you can RSVP at our link on the homepage for regenesisguild.com, where you will find all of our offerings. Then I will be teaching a workshop on mixed media art. That will be on December the 5th. We will see how much we get completed on the first session, and we'll see if we need to have session number 2 to complete, but it may be completed in one session. When you RSVP for that workshop within a week or two, you will get a list of materials that I would like for you to bring and have available if you would like to create this as we go along. Now, some people may just want to watch the process, and that's fine too, but if you want to create a model like's posted right here, which is a contemporary abstract that uses mixed media, some very interesting materials, just RSVP, and I'd love to have you join me. That would be on December the 5th. Then Sarah Choi, who is a very gifted artist, will be teaching a floral watercolor class. This is going to be on January the 17th, and she too is going to provide a list of supplies for you for that particular workshop when you RSVP. Now, we've already had one meet and greet session, but that's not going to be our last one. So we would love to have you join us when we have our future meet and greets. Those days and times will be announced. It was a great time that we had to meet some of you already and hear what your passions are and how God is using you currently. It is a great chance for you to network also with like-minded creatives and educators. So be checking our website out for that particular thing. There's also going to be an upcoming workshop after the first of the year on writing children's books. There are also some podcasts that are being planned. But to learn more about our purpose and connect with us, visit regenesisguild.com. And if you want to stay informed of the things that are upcoming and our new events, just hit the subscribe button at the bottom of the homepage, and that will take you to a place where you can enter some information. and allow us to send emails as new events become posted to our website. Now, we know that some of you are going to be very curious to know more about these amazing creatives that you've heard speak tonight and perform. We will be having a link to them in their websites, so you'll be able to find out more about them if you visit the Regenesis Guild page in a few days. We will also have this particular event uploaded in its entirety for you to share and to watch and to even archive into your website. So thank you so much. We're so glad you were here, and we hope this won't be the last time we see you. We hope you'll join us for other events. We even hope that you'll share ideas with us of things you would like to see us do. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Elaine. I love listening to Elaine speak. She's just always so clear and sweet and beautiful. So thank you. We wanted to, so I think one of the great things about online platforms and Zoom is that it allows, I think, space for conversation. I think usually if we would go to a creative event, it's very much, we can never really hear from people in the quote unquote audience. And so what we really enjoy about the online platform and space is that I think it gives room for more conversation to happen. So we wanted to take maybe like the next 10 minutes or so to hear from anyone here who wants to respond or share something that is on their heart, or an insight or any kind of response to any of the pieces. So we will open that up now, and please don't be shy to share, and hopefully we will be able to give time to everyone who wants to say something to say something. So we'll take maybe about the next 10 minutes or so to give that kind of time for us.
I loved noticing the themes that God was weaving through our art. And one of them that I thought was kind of cool, because it came up in Roswitha's and mine and a few others, is like God's glory hidden, and like uncovering what God has hidden. I thought that was kind of cool, and like how Jason uncovers God's glory. And yeah, that was neat to see him speaking that through many of the creatives gathered here.
Yeah, and I'd like to do just a little throwback to the very first performance today by Barb. I just want to say that Emma's song as like a visual art piece was brilliant. I thought that was just so cool. I thought it was amazing. So I just thought it would be worth highlighting that. Really blessed by that. And also, Stephen, your sculpture and just the meaning of the many attempts, the persevering to find that bit of gold. That I thought that was so spot on and so encouraging. I think that everyone, who kind of puts their, goes to the grindstone of art and creating, find that often is the case. It's a lot of like kind of toil to find that bit of gold, and it makes it all worth it. So I was really encouraged by that.
Thanks. I find that I often am essay writing about discipline in ways where I'm linking like the discipline of an athlete to the discipline of the creative life and our discipline of faith. Yeah. I'm actually going to drop my website into the chat in case you want to sign up for my email newsletter. They come out about once a month, and I love sharing my poetry. And yeah, you can stay in touch. I'll put some of my contact in there for anyone on the call. For the people who used a lot of color in their work, unlike my work, like Barb or Roswitha or the boys who are writing that amazing book, do you feel like God speaks to you in what colors to use? Is there like a favorite color you have right now?
I think it's hard to choose for me just one color. Color itself and the huge variety of them is such a wonderful gift to us as people, as creatives, that we have it. And I just finished reading a book. It talks about we as creatures, mammals, have a limited color spectrum compared to some of the other animals God's created, like birds and like insects who can see into both the ultraviolet and the hidden infrareds and actually see colors that we don't see. So it's kind of interesting to think that we actually have limited vision when it comes to colors. I would say I don't have a favorite.
Tobias and Liam, do you have something you want to share too about colors and how you see them, or maybe how God speaks to you through colors?
Yes. Like all the drawings come from God. And the colors also, as you can see here, the background picture of one of my artworks, the Good Shepherd, that came to me, that God showed me like the colors of that which I should make.
Wow, I love that. And I love, Barb, how you shared that other creatures can see a spectrum of colors that our eyes can't pick up. And it just reminded me too of how in Revelation, like the throne of God, there's a rainbow around his throne. And I was always thinking, like, are there colors that like to our eyes don't exist? So I always think about that too, right? So so I love that you shared that. I had no idea about the other creatures seeing a wider spectrum. I'm like, what does ultraviolet look like? So I love that. Are there any other questions or thoughts?
Yes, my favorite colors are blue and green, and I live on the Baltic Sea, and I always paint the Baltic Sea. It's so nice, the waves to paint, and the Schaum, I don't know in English. It's very nice to paint the waves on the sea. I like it so much in blue and green colors. And yes, and if I have my worship music, my most pictures are in blue and green colors, the most of all. Sometimes I paint in red and yellow and orange, but blue and gray or green, it's very, very nice for me. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Wait, I'm gonna turn on the. Oh, I guess you can open it.
I was gonna say to Poet Hawkins that I really loved, and Catherine, who's sitting beside me, really loved the honesty in your voice and how it was unproduced in the most fantastic way. It was like just so beautifully there, and you weren't like forcing anything, but there was just this like presentness in your voice that really spoke to me. So thank you.
Thank you for that.
And you know, I could even say the same about Danielle's dance.
Mm-hmm.
That it was the way you danced flowed in a way that just seemed like you were your most like at ease, like natural self, although it is a workout to do something like that. It seemed like it was just a very free and natural, beautiful way for you to be in the world. And God definitely speaks through you dancing. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you so much. I do feel most free when I'm dancing.
Mm.
And I just, I know several of these people, and I'm just so amazed at how many people are talented in several areas. Danielle's a dancer, but she's also a singer. And Sarah is an artist, and she's also a musician and singer. And then Stephen has all of these giftings. And so I truly am amazed at how many people God has duplicated giftings in your life. And I just want to celebrate that. I just really feel like that it's so beautiful to be sure that that other people know that although you had to highlight one or the other, many of you, that you are multi-talented, and he has been so generous with his giftings with you. And I am just so amazed and so grateful that you were willing to come and share this with you. And then there's people in the audience, you know, that I see, that Lydia, who is an amazing vocalist, and Leo, who is a flagger and a dancer, and other people that have joined us tonight. It's just so beautiful to see the volume of creativity that he has on this call.
I got to see Anna actually in action, taking those first 2 photographs in India. And it was such an, I was a little bit emotional too, because after Danielle's dance, Anna was a little choking up and was a little choking up. But just to see her artwork, it's beautiful, but just knowing the backstory of how costly it was for her to be there, to take those shots, and just the obedience that she had walked, and just so many things that she went through to physically get there, because she really felt like the Lord was leading her to be there. So we get to see the final, like the beautiful product, the photo, but just really, I know it was just walk of faith and journey, and just letting go of her agendas and her plans for the summer, and just going, not knowing what God has for her there. And so it's such a blessing to see. And I know a lot of us as a creatives, you know, our songs, our dance, or our artwork, our photographs, our writings, I know it all comes from a place where I know there's a backstory to it, and we get to kind of see the, you know, as an audience, we get to just see this beautiful creation. But yeah, I think we would love to get to know you more as an artist, and we would love to build relationships and just do this journey together as an artist and as a believer. So we're really excited that everybody, that you guys are here to just share. And yeah, we want to get to know you more, really, and do collaboration and do more projects down the line. So really hope that this can be a start of many, many beautiful things to come.
I definitely want to echo what Sarah said. Like, we really are just starting, you know, Regenesis Guild, and we're not super professionals. We just really are doing this out of obedience and out of the, you know, really the dreams and desires that God put in our hearts. And we just really want to be obedient to that. And I'm just so thankful, really, how God has been leading us every step of the way, and to be connected to everyone here too. I think it's such a blessing, and such an encouragement as well. Just personally, in terms of, you know, like, okay, this makes the sacrifice and the journey so worth it. This connection and being able to witness and see like these beautiful creations and expressions, and to hear too the process and the stories behind them. I think it's such treasure to, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to also say about Janet, your piece, that too, your spoken word. I think I remember you performing this a couple of years ago, the Arise. I was like, oh, I've heard this, and I remember that time I was so blessed because God was speaking to me about arise, and shine, arise and shine. And then to hear it again, I was like, oh, okay, Lord, I know that you're saying something, and just and it's just very encouraging. And then just to hear and see and to everything, hear from everyone has just been such a blessing. Everyone, they're so blessed with so many talents and creativity. I think there's no limit. And so excited to just connect and to continue this journey. And also, just wanted to let you guys know it's Janet's birthday today too. So please just give her a shout out, send her a message.
Happy birthday!
Yeah.
Hey.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday, Janet!
And so, yeah, she's been working on this a lot, and she's like a boss. So anyways, that's it, and I'm just thankful. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you. This is like kind of I don't think I would want to be anywhere else or be doing anything else on my birthday. So thank you. And yes, if nobody else wants to share anything, then I think we can. Oh, Amy?
Yeah, hi there, I'm Amy. I've been kind of just thinking about what to say. There's so much to take in. It was such a rich couple hours. But I think what really struck me is that how personal God is, that like he's working individually with each of us as creatives through our pieces and whatever we share, and yet he uses that to touch certain places in other people's hearts in different ways, but using similar mediums. Like I could see in different pieces, from Janet's to the egg crate themes, or all these different things where like I was feeling like affirmations, or felt like God was like confirming what he's been doing in my life personally. And yet each item was so personal for each of you. And so it just was neat. I'm a singer-songwriter up in Canada, and usually, not necessarily the observer of a collective of art like this. And so it was just really beautiful to sit back and reflect, and just to see God, how personal he is, and how each person is so uniquely gifted, and yet he uses all of that to reach other people personally. So what you're doing matters. Thank you so much for putting this on.
Yeah. Hey, why don't we sing happy birthday to Janet? Come on, let's do it.
Yes.
Happy
birthday to you.
Happy birthday to
you.
Happy
birthday,
dear
Janet.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy
Thank
birthday,
you.
Janet.
Thank you guys so much. Yay.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. And that was the best. Thank you. And thank you all for joining. Definitely, please, let's continue to connect. And thank you, Stephen, for joining us from Boulder. Yes, so I would love, if that's okay, just to close this with a word of prayer, and then
Is that an Apple thing? Definitely not with my Samsung Galaxy.
And then, and yes, so thank you guys. Thank you so much. So Father, we thank you for this time. We thank you. We honor you as the creator who created us and who created us in your image. And we just thank you that we get to worship you in this way, just the freedom and the rest that we have in you. Just pray for every person who is on this call, Lord, that there's such a richness in what you poured out to us today. I pray that it would really settle in us, and that we thank you that it's going to bear fruit. So we love you. Just pray a blessing for everyone who is here, and we honor you, Jesus. And yes, may you have your glory in our lives. And we thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Do stay connected, and we'll have everything up on our website as well. So thank you all. God
Thank
bless
you, Janet.
guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Janet, for putting this together.
Thank you, Janet.
Yeah,
I know it wasn't easy.
It was an honor.
Thank you all
Thank you.
so
It was
much.
an honor to have everybody.
Yeah.
It was great.
Way to go, guys. Everyone killed it.
Yeah, it was
Woohoo.
beautiful. Thank you, Joel. It was great.
Yeah, everything that everybody shared.
Read that story, man.
Yeah.
Oh, do it.
Bye.
Hopefully it ends happy for you.
Bye, Tobias and Liam.
Bye.
Can't wait to see your book.
All right. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
So cute.